This is the Wealth Exec. Let's reach your goals together. Hi, this is Carrie Marrow, and I am here to talk to you about month end. If you're catching me on my video blog or my podcast, thank you so much for coming for the ride. Today's video and podcast, we're going to get straight to it, is about month end close. Things that always happens at month end, no matter how large or small your organization is. Many business owners ask themselves, or executives ask themselves, am I reaching my goals? Do I have the right team in place to have me reach those goals? And where am I truly with my finances? Am I okay? Am I reaching my mark? And this is where we're going to talk today about. We're going to go over 3 steps that will help you and bring you closer to answering these questions for yourself. Now, before we get started, I'm going to just give you a little thing to keep in your head. A lot of organizations, a lot of business owners I understand that there's a people factor that impacts my business. I get it. But I want you to truly ask yourself, do you really understand what that means to your bottom line? Okay, because whether you like it to or not, there's a people factor. There's a people factor when it comes to your customers, your vendors, and your employees. And when we talk about the 3 steps, which we're going to start talking about right now, it'll really bring to life where those things interact. Okay, now step 1. Are you truly seeing the true picture in your financial operations? Operational efficiency. I am going to bring it up as many times as I possibly can, because it doesn't matter how good your computer system is. If you're not fully automated, if the people factor is not working, if your employees are not on the same page, if they're not trained properly, if they're just not suited for that particular functionality, you will have an issue with your operational efficiencies, with your internal controls. These are physical things that need to get done so that your computer systems can work right. So the question is, do you know the answer to that question? Are your systems of your physical internal controls, your operation cycle, are they working from beginning to end properly? If you're like, I don't know, it's okay. Because you know what? A lot of people don't know. Now, on the wealthexec.com website, there are free resources. Feel free to visit and download a workbook. Okay, now let's finish up. What I would recommend that you do is, you started this business, or you are the CEO, or you are one of the executives, or you are a supervisor. You understand what happens in those departments. You understand what should happen in those departments. Okay, so you can bring your team together and ask them questions, but I ask you first to please take and write down what your gut is telling you is possibly going wrong, or things that you possibly want to make better. Then you can either, 1, take and sit down with those team leads, those executives, anyone that will make you get your job done so that you can move the company forward, or take 15 minutes, 30 minutes out of your day and observe, because that's where you can figure out what you can fix to move your company or team forward. Because again, the past is the past, give it a hug. We need to move forward. Step 2 is making sure that information is making it into your financial reporting. Now, I'm going to divert because this information is very universal. Everything that I've been talking about and that I will talk about, it doesn't matter if you are dealing with $1 billion company, $1 million company, down to a mom and pop company. All of these things are important. They all matter. But one thing that I do have to point out, and I'm going to point this out, and it's mainly for small businesses, is please don't do anything out of your systems. This is so important that you kind of stop and build yourself a system so that you make sure that everything makes it into your financial reporting. So larger organizations, you want to make sure that those internal controls are in place, that your financial statements are being properly and fully and completely identified and recorded. Okay? Step 3, bringing it all together. assessing your financial condition. Let's start with the income statement. I always, whenever I go into an organization, no matter the industry, I make sure I understand what is the true production cost. One of the things that I always do, especially when I'm going into a new situation, is I make sure I understand what is the raw good to sale cost. What should that be? What should that number be for that particular company, whether it's right or not? What have they been functioning at the moment? Then I look at cost of goods to sales. What is it at the moment? What are they trending? Okay, is that what your organization is trending? Then I look at G&A. Is the G&A cost, is that where it's supposed to be trending? Okay, whether there can be improvements made to it or not, you want to understand what is the trend. Once you understand the trend, then when something kind of skews off course, no matter what anybody wants to sell you as being a story as to that's it's supposed to be okay, you can be like, and that's about a no. Because the numbers don't make sense. Okay, now when you do that, you kind of then can take and say, okay, this is now, is there a way for my G&A, for example, that I can reduce my cost? Are there efficiencies that I can take part in? Like, what can I do when it comes to benchmarking your raw materials to sales, or your cost of goods sold to sales? You can say, is this running efficiently? Can we run better? But this is a benchmark. This is where we are right now. But maybe I need to start looking at some operational processes. Maybe we can make efficiencies. Maybe we can't. But at least I know where I stand. At least I know what are the expenses for me to run my organization. And then you can run cash flow reports. Then you can look at your balance sheet, and you will have a complete picture of where you are. Now, all of this, as I stated in the beginning, all comes down to what? I'll pause a minute so you can think about it. People. Okay? Now, you have customers. You have vendors. You have employees. And all of these are going to positively or negatively impact your financials. Okay, it's just what it is. You can say, I want to make more sales. So if I want to make more sales, do I understand my customer? Do I understand what they're looking for? How am I going to attract them? Do I want to enter into a different niche in that industry? How am I going to get there? Who do I have to speak to? What do I need to provide? If it's a vendor, okay, I want to make it into a new market. That means I'm going to need possibly to get extended terms from my vendors. Or I may need to talk to a bank to get additional resources. It all comes to people. My employees, how am I using them efficiently? Am I using them to the best of their ability? Or do I need to transition them into something else where I know they're stronger, or what they're stronger at? This all stems down to who? You. It stems down to how you will reach your goals, how you will reach your margin, how you will take your company to the next step in your organization. And it all comes down to understanding yourself and having your team leaders understand themselves, making sure that everyone is on the same page. There are a lot of resources on the wealthexec.com website that are used to help you and your organization. Every piece of material that I give you that's discussing financial ratios or industry discussions, all of that will have the people factor in it. Why? Because it's so integral to your success. Because you can't leave it out. It impacts your margin. It impacts the success of your company. People can either be an asset or a liability to you. You pick, and there's things that you can do to be preventive and make things better. We also offer what's called emotional intelligence. It's a great tool. It helps you assess where you are, how you deal with stresses, how you deal with problem solving, how you do with management. It really hones in on building a stronger team to get you what you want, which is higher profits, or even, unfortunately, just surviving in today's industry. So I hope you've enjoyed this video blog or podcast wherever you find me, and I hope that you continue to follow me.